What's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had the first round of the playoffs against the Chicago Blackhawks, and we manhandled that team so badly. Like, that might have been my most dominant series win of all time. It only took us 4 games, of course, but it was an absolute slaughterfest, and that's like kind of taking it lightly in a sense, because you could see Game 1, we won 9-4, which obviously scoring 9 goals, craziness. I thought after that, we were not going to score that much goals. Well, Game 2, we scored 5 goals and win 5-3, so a little bit of a closer game in Game 2. However, Game 3, we win 9-3 again, so 2 9-goal games in the first 3 games of the series, and then we closed it out with a 6-4 win. We were averaging over 7 goals a game in that series, which is absolutely insane. I don't think I've ever seen such a dominant effort from one team before. Even in terms of like our player stats, like everybody was contributing, and the only problem I'd say really was our goaltending. It wasn't super consistent, but if we look at like our forwards here, Goldman had 10 points in 4 games. You had also Walter with the 8 goals and 9 points in 4 games. Bulbrook had 9 points. Like, we just had everybody contributing to the offensive load. Like, our only line that didn't really do much offensively was our 4th line that only had 2 points each in 4 games, but still everybody had a point. And then from a defensive standpoint, every defender except for Vernarski had a point in that first round, which was kind of surprising. So just really great defense, great offense. Like, I didn't say our defense wasn't fantastic, but I might have put it on Bergqvist instead of our defense, because obviously an 876 save percentage means that obviously he wasn't playing the best at times. He allowed 14 goals in those 4 games, so I hope that he has a better second round ahead of him, because obviously if our offense starts like to decide not to score as much as it was in the first round, we're going to be in a problematic stage if our goaltending isn't performing up to snuff too. So will be interesting to see what this team does in the second round. Obviously, like with the Walters, 8 goals in 4 games. I don't know if he's just trying to get paid some big bucks in the next few years or what, but he was definitely playing a lot better than I was anticipating. And yeah, it's going to be exciting just to see what this team can do in the next round. I don't know if we're going to be able to maintain this type of statistic, but obviously I think our team is still built up to be very, very strong. But I feel like for some reason, this next round, it's definitely not going to be scoring as much as it did in the first round, because look at that. 7.25 goals per game, allowing 3.5. So 3.5 goals against is kind of not great. But if you compare that to every other team in the Western Conference in the playoffs, that is the best goals against, which is kind of weird. So it is actually better than expected. The goals for per game, though, is kind of insane, because the next closest team in terms of offense was the LA Kings, scoring 4.57, the Calgary Flames scoring 4, and then you also had like the San Jose Sharks on 3.86, the Ducks on 3.86. So yeah, it's pretty insane. Our power play was also really good at 30%, and our penalty kill was clicking well too at 88.9. So everything did well in the first round, I guess, in that sense. So it'll be interesting to see if that can continue into the second round, or will it start to fall off a little bit, because we are taking on a Nashville Predators team that actually has some pretty solid talent, especially on the first line. We have played them a few years back, I think it was. Not sure exactly what year it was, but we definitely have taken them on in the playoffs before. And they are actually kind of a better team than anticipated. This top line of Boynton, Motto, and Cons is probably one of the best top lines in the league in terms of overall rating. You also have some solid second liners like Kulich and Luongo. But you can definitely see their depth really isn't there with like Claxon, Kamel, Harold, and Brink. So I think we should be able to score goals on them, but also it depends, I guess, on what the sim engine wants to do against us. Kim Rodine's been an okay goalie at times as well for them. So obviously scoring on him is definitely something we need to find out how to do. Hasn't had a good playoff career, so I am a little bit skeptical that we could get cheese just based on the fact their goaltender hasn't been a good playoff goalie before. But also that top line could just rip us to shreds, all of us, and you never know. So, because at the moment so far, Boynton's point per game, Motto's just over point per game, and Cons is well over point per game. So will be interesting to see if we can contain that line and not let them to score a lot of goals. Like, because Connor Bedard on the Blackhawks in the last round really didn't do too much against us. So it'll be interesting to see if we could contain Top Guns just like we did with Connor Bedard. But anyways, let's get into the one and only comment we got in last episode, and then we'll get into this round 2 matchup with the Nashville Predators. So that comment is from Saturn Otaku, says that certainly was a series, and I told him I wasn't expecting that level of dominance offensively, and he says, like you, I do expect a massive come down from it. Maybe you won't get eliminated, but I expect it will be a lot closer than this one, and I totally agree. Even if our offense doesn't come down fully, this series definitely is going to be a much closer one than the first round was, so I would expect this series to go to 6 or 7 games, and obviously there'd be maybe a couple overtime games in there as well. But will be interesting to see who ends up winning the Cup this season, regardless if we don't win, because I think Buffalo, obviously they've won one Stanley Cup. I think they could go for another. I was thinking Anaheim could win the Cup this year, but they got eliminated in the first round, which was kind of a surprise. Philadelphia is actually on to round 2 as well, despite winning the President's Trophy. And you also have the LA Kings still in the playoffs, who obviously got knocked out in the second round last year to the Anaheim Ducks. So a couple of teams that have actually made some playoff noise the last few years. If for some reason we have to play Buffalo in the Stanley Cup Finals again this year, though, that would be kind of insane, because I don't think I've ever played a team that much for the Stanley Cup before. But anyways, let's get into the second round and see what we can do against the Preds. Is it going to be more of the same, or is it going to be a lot tighter like Saturn Otaku? And I think it's definitely going to be a lot closer on paper this series. They went to 7 games, we swept. So I almost feel like we could get swept, but at the same time, you never really know what happens with the sim engine sometimes. But anyways, let's get into game number 1 and see if we could continue to build off last round. The 7.25 goals per game, is it going to only go to 1-2 goals 4 per game? We'll see. First period of game 1. And we're off to a good start, 1-0. Jerry Bickle opens the scoring on Kim Rodin. 11:15 in, which is good. Or with 11:15 left, I should say. Shots are 13-8 in favor of us, so pretty solid first period. Not a lot of offense, but obviously we don't need to be scoring 7.25 goals per game. We just need a couple goals, and we need to play good defensively, and everything will be fine. I also hope that, like I said, Bergqvist's numbers come up a little bit in the series, because he hasn't been great so far in his first 5 games, I would say. The team outscoring the problems has definitely been what our team has been excelling at so far in this playoff run. Can we get some insurance in the second period to make us feel a little bit safer going into the third? Second period. Ooh, yeah, I kind of expected something like that. Not a great period from Bergqvist. He has not been great, like I said, in this playoff so far. Motto makes it a tie game with a power play goal early. Literally a minute later around, he scores another goal to give them a lead. Bickle gets his second of the night to tie it up, but then Bransic Nygaard has given the Nashville Predators a lead. Shots are 23-21 in favor of us, but we're down by a goal. We're still not playing the best in terms of goals against. Obviously, our offense is still playing solid, but obviously at this point, we only scored 2 goals. We need to score 3 or more goals, and then we should be able to win the next game, or the next period. So let's see if we can tie this game up in this third period, or will Bergqvist continue to struggle here in the postseason? Vandermeer ties it immediately to start the third period. Wilson gets a power play goal. There's our 4th goal of the night. Backer scores to make it 5-3. This team is still averaging 5+ goals a game. That's insane. Power play again for us. We do not score there. Well, that's a good way to start a third period. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Final few minutes, and we are going to improve to 5-0 on this playoff run, scoring 5 goals in each of our first 5 games of the series, or not of the series, of the playoffs, I should say. Final shots 38-33, and we get a nice third period win off a power play goal from Wilson. Nice couple early goals set the tone in that third period, and they weren't able to come back. Okay. So we make up for those mistakes from Bergqvist, which is good. Bickle from Grosek and Jaquizi. We had Bickle from Grosek, Vandermeer from Irving and Ekholm. Wilson's 5th from Ekholm and Jaquizi. Backer gets his first goal of the playoffs from Vandermeer and Ekholm, and that is that. So Ekholm had 3 points again. Bickle and a couple other guys on 2 points. A couple guys on 1 point. And, of course, Bergqvist, probably one of his better games so far in the playoffs, because it was above a .900 save percentage. Bickle gets first star, Ekholm the second star, and Vandermeer the third star of the game. All right. Well, it's good that we're always able to outscore our problems, but at the same time, we need Bergqvist to be better, because I have not been super big fan of his playoff performance so far. Obviously, really liked our offense, but the goaltending for some reason just is not finding itself consistently. Maybe because Bergqvist isn't facing a ton of shots every game, and that's why he's giving up goals. I don't know exactly, but Definitely need to find a way for him to be a little bit more consistent, just like our offense has been. Let's keep the team the exact same because we've not lost a game so far in this playoff run. Eventually, we'll probably lose one. I don't think we're going to go 16-0, but you never know. Never know. LA's up 1-0 on San Jose. Columbus is up 1-0 on Buffalo. And Philadelphia's up 1-0 on the Islanders. Kind of surprised the Flyers are actually doing this well after their great season as well. Because both of us had very good seasons. But I am kind of surprised that they're actually managing to continue that into playoff success as well. But let's get into Game 2. See if we could take both of our home games again and improve to 6-0 potentially in the playoffs. First period of game number 2. 2-1 Preds. Not a great start again from Bergqvist. A power play goal against as Con scores. Irving ties the game up. Good to see Aiden Irving on the board because I'm pretty sure he didn't score a single goal in round 1, but he was over point per game, which is awesome. And then a late short-handed goal with 37 seconds left from Brandstad Nygaard again. Shots are 14-7 in favor of us, but we're down by a goal, so yeah, I don't know what's with Bergqvist right now. I might honestly turn to Mills just to see what Mills could do because Bergqvist has very struggled a lot. Like, he just doesn't face a lot of shots and then he's not warmed up enough or something. It's very strange because we're scoring a ton of goals, but our goaltender's just not making saves when he has to. So eventually we're going to lose a game because of that. So let's hope we can find a way to tie this game up in the second period because or else this game could get out of hand. Who knows? Second period. 3-2. Okay, it's still a one-goal game. We did tie it up on a goal from Wilson, but then Kulich got them the lead with 3:49 left. We're out shooting him 24-15, but we've given up 3 goals. I think I might have to turn to Mills next game. Just not too sure if it's the right move or not, but Bergqvist definitely has needing some rest or something like that. It's very strange. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we can tie this game up. Do what we did last game, because we were trailing 3-2 going into the third last game, and then we won 5-3, right? So anything could happen. Let's see what happens in this potential final 20 of this game. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties, boys. Nicely done on the penalty kill power play. For us, we get a power play goal from Jerry Bickle. Let's go, Bickle. That's a huge goal to tie it up again in the third period. We're into the final 10 minutes of regulation. Is this game going to go to overtime in Game 2? Is it going to go to overtime? And the answer is yes, it is. Shots are 37-27 in favor of us. So Rodin definitely keeping the Preds in this game. We are outshooting by 10 shots, but it is a tie game at 3. This is going to be our first game where we've scored less than 5 goals, but it's still, if we score another goal, it would be our 4th goal, which is still pretty high. But definitely our goals is 4 is coming down a little bit in this series by comparison to last round because we're not scoring 9 goals. And I don't think we're going to score 9 goals again in this entire playoff run, but you never know. I know I keep saying that, but you never know what could happen. Let's see what happens in overtime. See if we can get that hero. And who wants to be the hero? Let's say Aiden Irving, because Aiden's the GOAT. Can we get that 4th goal and take a 2-0 series lead? Come on, boys. You got this. Yes, we can. Let's go. 6 wins in a row as Ekholm has beaten Rodin on our 44th shot. We have taken a 2-0 series lead and we've won 6 straight games to start this playoff run. That's a nice little win there. Definitely a closer game than we've had in the past, but I will definitely take it. Another game we were trailing going into the third that we found a way to win. So Irving's first to the playoffs from Wilson, which is kind of crazy that it took him that long to score his first goal. Wilson from Irving, Bickle from Goldman, and then the game-winning goal is Ekholm from Irving and Goddard. So Irving, even though he's not scoring a lot of goals in this playoff run, he's picking up points. 3 points in that game. Wilson the 2nd star, and Ekholm the 3rd star. I actually do want to take a look at not Nashville stats. I want to take a look at our stats here quickly. 906 for Bergqvist. The goals against is good. Don't get me wrong, but that save percentage has never been above a 910 so far this playoff run. I feel like I should just keep on going with Bergqvist until he loses a game, but I'm honestly keeping him on a short leash because I think Mills should get an opportunity at some point. But we're 6-0, so something's going right with this team. It's probably more the offense in a sense, but Ekholm on 11 points in 6 games. San Jose, LA are tied at 1 at the moment. The other series are both 2-0 right now. There's a chance Philadelphia could be going to the conference finals, and we could be going to the conference finals. But then again, one of these teams might end up blowing a 2-0 lead and losing 4 straight games. I've seen it happen before. Hopefully it's not us, because that would be quite annoying, considering we've won 6 straight games. Okay, let's get to game 3. Keep it the same for now. But like I said, if Bergqvist eventually loses one of these games really badly, I might turn to Mills just to give Bergqvist a little bit of a break, because maybe he just needs a break because he's played a lot of hockey the last number of years. Let's see what happens in game 3 as we shift to Nashville. Can we win on the road as well like we did in Chicago? Game 3, first period. 3-0 us. Let's go, man. Oh my goodness. I feel like we could get reverse swept if we take a 3-0 lead, though, but you never know. Bickle scores again. Bickle's been fantastic this round, speaking of which. He scored in every game so far. Wilson makes it 2-0, and Backer scores his second goal of the series to make it a 3-0 game. Shots are 16-11 in favor of us. Hopefully we can hold on to this lead, because if Nashville scores 2 goals in the second and we don't score anything, they might come back and win in the third period. So we want to keep them off the score sheet in a second, and we want to find a way to just keep this lead intact. Can we do it second period? I might have just spoke this into existence, but the Nashville Predators get 2 goals in the second period. Boynton and Pinelli. Shots are 32-18, but we're only up by a goal. I definitely don't feel safe being up only by 1 with Per Bergqvist in net right now. Great regular season goalie, but right now in the playoffs, he's definitely struggled. We need him to have his best period of the playoffs, and we need our team to get some insurance if possible. We definitely have the offense in us to score more goals. Can we do that, and can we lock it down defensively as well? Third period underway. Come on, boys. You got this. I believe in you. Hey, Caden Wilson, another power play goal. He's been great. A power play goal back, though, by Nashville, by Motto. And then we got a goal from Reese, of all people, to give us a 2-goal lead. Okay, Reese, I see you. Wasn't expecting you to score a goal, but nice one there to make it 5-3. Final few minutes, still up by a pair of goals. And we are going to hold them off. We have taken a 3-0 series lead, and we are 1 win away from pulling off 2 sweeps to start the playoffs, which is actually insane. I feel like at some point we're going to get swept, though, because we've potentially swept 2 series here, which is awesome. We could also get reverse swept in the series, though, too. So, Bickle from Groshek and Jacuzzi, Wilson from Vernarski and Irving, Backer from Irving and Ekholm. Then we almost blew the lead. Wilson got a goal from Jacuzzi and Irving, and then Reese scores his first goal of the playoffs from Goldman and Goddard. I feel like everybody on this roster has a goal. Wilson, the first star of the game. Zacharias, the second star, and then Irving, the third star. So Zacharias was put in after the first period, or what? Because usually it's Rodin. Yeah, Rodin started the game, and he was not off to a good start, 7:20 in, so they decided to go to Zacharias, and Zacharias almost won them the game. Huh. Interesting. Wonder if they should have started Zacharias instead. But we're 7-0 in the playoffs. I don't think I've ever swept the first 2 rounds, so I'm definitely thinking we're going to get a loss sooner rather than later, as LA's up 2-1 at the moment. Philadelphia's also up 3-0. Sanrataku wants to get his wish of the Flyers versus the Jets in the Cup Finals. Who knows? There's a possibility that could happen still. That's insane. If we have to face the Flyers, though, for the Stanley Cup, that's going to be one of the most anticipated Stanley Cup Finals of all time. Both those teams absolutely elite, so who knows? It could happen, but obviously Philadelphia could lose to Columbus in the conference finals. We could end up losing to LA if we get there. We can end up getting reverse swept in this round still. All right, let's keep the team the exact same. That was a solid effort from the team again. We have been still giving up a lot of goals against, like 3 goals against every single game, but we've managed to score 4+ goals almost every game we've played, or actually of every game we've played so far. So can we sweep our second straight series and go to the conference finals in only 8 games? So let's see. Let's see if we could do it. First period of game number 4. Yikes. Per Bergqvist with a rough first period. We outshot them 17-8. And Bergqvist allows 3 goals. Brandseg Nygaard's been their best player. He's got 3 goals in the series. Petit makes it 2-0. Goddard gets us on the board to make it a 2-1 game. But then Motto scores a power play goal. Bergqvist might have been pulled after that first period. So I might have to change goalies next game. We're definitely struggling to keep the puck out in the net, but we're outscoring our problems a lot of the time. So if we can't get a goal back in the second period, this might be our first loss of the playoffs. And then who knows, maybe we get reverse swept. Can we get back into this game in the second period? We're dominating shot-wise. Can we get a goal or two to tie this game up potentially and make it a little bit easier for us going forward in the third period? Because if we're still down 3-1 going into the third, it's going to be a tough hill to climb. Second period. 4-1. Yep, it's going to be probably our first loss to the playoffs. Con scores. Bergqvist was still in net. Shots are 25-17. We're down by 3 goals. This is going to be our first game where we're not going to be able to score probably more than 4 goals, which also concerns me a bit. I kind of feel like we're going to get reverse swept out of nowhere. I just feel like it. It's not great, but it might happen. Well, this is probably going to be our first loss of the playoffs. Yep, Bobby Brink makes it 5-1. Cons makes it 6-1. 7-1, Petit. My God. Yeah, Bergqvist is... Oh, my God. Mills got put in net, and he let in a goal, too. Irving makes it 8-2. That's a little bit too lean. You hate to see it. God damn, man. This is our worst goaltending effort I've seen so far. Yeah, our team is definitely not the best in terms of defense right now, or it's just our goaltending that's questionable, but 8-2 loss, and we outshot them. 32-29. Jesus. Yeah, Bergqvist ain't starting next game. Goddard from Wilson and Ekholm, and then we didn't score all the way to Irving from Vandermeer and Goddard. What the hell happened to this team? Scarlett and Reese were -4 each. Yikes. Jaqueezi -3. Oh my God. And then the goaltending numbers, absolutely terrible. Yeah, Mills is starting next game. No question about it. Per Bergqvist has had his worst playoffs I've ever seen. A .682. Jesus. You think with how good our team is offensively that he wouldn't have much of a problem in terms of keeping the puck out in the net, but he can't stop a beach ball. He just can't. Wow. If we end up getting reverse swept after that loss, I'm going to be pretty mad. But let's adjust our lineup. Aiden Irving's now leading the team in points with 15 and 8. But I am going to go to edit lines here, and we're going to start Mills for the next game. Let's see if Mills can get his first career playoff victory. Because Bergqvist is right now rocking an .869 save percentage, but he's got a 7-1 record. So yeah, Mills will start. And in terms of defense, do I want to split up any of these defensive pairings? Ooh, that top 6 pairing is minus. I could get Greer in, but we did just get a goal from Reese recently. Reese recently, what the heck? That seems weird saying that. Yeah, I'm going to take Reese out for a game. And then get... Oh, Greer's offensive, though. That's a little bit of a risk. And let's get him in. Let's get him in. We'll change up something on the defensive front. And in terms of our offense, we shouldn't have any minus forwards, right? Ooh, that fourth line is minus. A couple of guys in the top 6 are actually minus as well, which is kind of surprising. Let's swap Pickle and Ekholm. Even though Ekholm's been fantastic, I don't really know what to do in terms of changes. We'll put Reason on the left side. We will put Jamal Hurd down the middle. Hansen will play on the wing instead. Trying to make something change up on that fourth line. Alright, let's keep the rest of that the same. Let's hope that Mills could do something that Bergqvist can't, because Bergqvist, for some reason, can't stop pucks. So, and allowing 7 goals in the last game, I'm not a huge fan of his performance, because that's definitely a heartbreaking loss. After year 7-0 in the playoffs, to lose 8-2 out of nowhere, I don't like that. But we did say the series was going to be a lot closer than last series, so if it goes to a Game 7 after we were up 3-0, I wouldn't be shocked. But can we close out this series on home ice, and can we get a better goaltending effort? Let's see if Mills could play good in his first playoff start. Come on, Mills. First periods of Game 5. 4-1 us. That's an answer I'd like to see. Irving scores 2 goals in the first period, as does Bickle. That's a fantastic start to the game. Great offensive. 4 goals on 16 shots. That's a goal every 4 shots. Motto scored 1 goal on their 9 shots. Solid start for Mills. Obviously not fantastic, because 1 goal on less than 10 shots isn't ideal, but obviously it's a lot better than what Bergqvist was providing us. So that's a solid start. The question is, can we hold on to this lead, or is the game going to somehow get them back into this game, because that's what the game does sometimes. Let's see if we can hold on to this lead in period 2. Second period. 5-1 us. Let's go. Jacuzzi scores. Okay, our Top Guns are a little mad after last game. I don't blame them. I would be a little bit mad too, especially on the goaltender. Shots are 34-15 in favor of us. We're dominating shots almost by 20 shots. We're up by 4 goals. Let's lock this game down and forget about last game and head ourselves to the conference finals. There we go. Ekholm 6-1. Well, it's good that we had a good answer at least. Shows that our team is a little mature. Because obviously if you lose 8-2, some teams let that creep into the next game. Cons makes it a 6-2 game with a power play goal. Our penalty kill definitely hasn't been the best here in the second round. Final few minutes of this game. Bransek Nygaard has to score again, of course, because he scored every single game for the most part. And it's going to be a 6-3 final as Mills gets his first ever career playoff win. And we are off to face probably the LA Kings, but could be the San Jose Sharks. And it's another game with more than 5 goals for our team. So Irving from Wilson and Vandermeer, Irving from Bickle, Bickle from Irving and Vandermeer, Bickle from Wilson and Irving. So Irving had 4 points in the first period. And then Jacuzzi from Ekholm and Vandermeer, Ekholm from Vandermeer, and Jacuzzi is the other goal. Let's take a look at those stat lines. Yeah, Irving 4 points. Vandermeer had 4 points, was +6. That's what I like to see, guys. That's what I like to see. Shout out to Vandermeer being a +6. That's awesome. And an .893 save percentage from Mills isn't the best, but at least he got us to victory. It's kind of similar to what Berkfist was doing. So Berkfist will start the conference finals, but obviously on a short leash. Bickle gets first start of game, Irving the second star, and Vandermeer the third star. I'm kind of surprised that Irving didn't get first star based on his first period, but I guess it's because Bickle's goals end up being the deciding factor in that game, I guess. So, wow. A little bit of an interesting second round. Not super close on paper, but obviously we won one game in overtime, so it could have been closer. But that 8-2 loss, definitely still a little bit salty in my mouth a little bit, but it was a win. And we are going to be playing the LA Kings in the conference finals. It's confirmed. Which means Michael Misa will get to play his former team. That's going to be interesting. And Columbus is on to the next round. Philadelphia has swept 2 straight series, I think. Or did they sweep the first round? I think they went to 7 games. But the Philadelphia Flyers are going to the conference finals, which means there is a realistic chance that both these 2 top teams could play each other for the Stanley Cup. But let's advance it just so we can get this confirmation that we're playing LA. There we go. And let's take a look at our player stats through 2 rounds. It's only taken us 9 games to get to this point. So we are definitely due for a tough series ahead. That's my guess. So in terms of our player stats, Ekholm's well over point per game with 15 points in 9 games. Goldman's got 12 points. Only 1 point in the second round for Goldman, but still over point per game. Bickle was great in that second round. He's up to 11 points. Hurd on 2 points. Hansen on 2 points. We also have Walter on still the 8 goals and 9 points. He didn't have a single point in that round, but we still managed to win. Groshek on 9 points, Reason on 2. And in our right wingers, Aiden Irving had a fantastic friggin' round. Had no goals going into that round. I think he had like 8 assists or something like that, but 19 points in 9 games for Aiden Irving. This guy's insane. And then Wilson on 14 points, also has 3 game-winning goals. Chikwueze on 10 points, and Bulbrook on 9. Yeah, Aiden Irving just takes it to another gear when he's in the playoffs. Defensively, Vandermeer on 12 points, +16. Goddard on 9 points. Backer on 3. Every defender has a point so far. Greer had 1 game played and he was -1. I'll probably take him back out and put Reese back in because Reese was better defensively. And goalie-wise, Berkfist and Mills have not been the best, but we've been winning games without them being that great. So if they start finding themselves, we'll be definitely better, potentially. But right now, it's the Aiden Irving show on this team. Let me actually go to headlines first before we take a look at what the LA Kings look like and all that. Because I do want to make sure our lines are set back up for next round and next episode. So obviously this is going to stay the same. We are going to take the Greer out for next round to start. And Reese will be back in the lineup. And goalie-wise, we will go back to obviously to the Per Berkfist and see if he can get back to where he was in the regular season. But the rest of that will stay the exact same. Hopefully our third line shows up next round. But let's take a look at what the LA Kings did during the regular season and playoff-wise so far. And then we will take a look at the roster and see what we're going up against. We know that Michael Misa's there because we dealt him there, but it will be interesting for sure. So Western Conference, they were the 6th seed. They went 43-30-9. They scored 3.77 goals per game. We scored 4.32. Obviously, we're the best in everything, but comparison-wise, they allowed a lot of goals. 3.49 goals against per game compared to our 2.74. Their power play was actually really good, though, 25.8. And their penalty kill was very bad, so that's probably why their goals against was a little high. 77.3. Okay. What about playoff-wise so far? Probably a lot better, my guess. Let's see. So we are 8-1. They are 8-4. They're scoring 4.42 goals per game. We're scoring 5.67 still. We're allowing 3.78 to the 3.08. So we're a worse defensive team right now than the LA Kings. Probably because of that 8 goals against game, but obviously that needs to improve. That drastically needs to improve, that goals against. Power play percentage, both teams have had good power plays, but LA's is better than ours at the moment. And their penalty kill is also better because their penalty kill definitely struggled against the Nashville Predators. All right. So we might have to make some special teams adjustments before next round. But let's take a look at these LA Kings. See what they are made of, because we've never played them, I think, before in the playoffs. I don't feel like we did. But it's interesting to know that we basically traded for Michael Misa, who was drafted by the LA Kings, and then we traded him back to LA. So, yep. Oh, boy. Okay, so Orlando Mickelson. There is Michael Misa, Winnipeg Jets legend, and Dalibor Dvorsky. Oh, boy, Michael Misa. 2 years in LA, both on 90-point seasons. In the playoffs this year, he's got 22 points in 12 games. He's been doing even better than Aiden Irving. Yikes. Oh my goodness. I wish I didn't trade Michael Misa to LA, but I had to with this scenario because it's basically Ekholm was taking over his spot, and that's why we dealt him. Wow. All right. Second line, Jackson Pajot, Tony Heikkila, and Dale Nystrom. Third line has Dustin Hines, Quinton Byfield still there at 35, and Reese Steeves. And a fourth line of Matthew Belanger, Joe Veleno still playing, and Brandon Shingtime. So their right-handed depth is not the best, but left wing-wise, having an 87 on the third line, that's great. And their center depth is good too. Yeah, that's a scary team. But Michael Misa, goddamn man. He also has obviously all that playoff experience with us. As you can see, all those cup wins, and he's won multiple Conn Smythes with us too. So I am a little bit nervous to play our former player. Defensively, they have Declan Villette. Brandt Clark still playing at 35. He's obviously really good. Jared Rafalski. They also have Gustavo Graham. Well, I recognize him from... Did we have him or did we play again? Yes, we did. I knew I recognized Gustavo. I didn't realize he was actually in the NHL now, but he played 4 years with Manitoba. And then basically we let him go, I think, because we didn't have enough space or something. But he went to play with Carolina for a bit. Arizona, now he's a full-time NHL defenseman with 29 points this year. And in the playoffs so far, he's got 4 points. So shout out to Gustavo Graham. Didn't realize he was actually going to generate till the top 4. Was a former first-rounder of the Rangers, though, so I think we acquired him in a trade. Who did we trade for the Rangers? To the Rangers. I don't remember, but I know for sure we definitely brought him in via trade, I think. Roy Berehowski's there, unless we just signed him for the AHL. And then Scott Gannon. In terms of goaltenders, George Kirka and Miroslav Kvapil. So some of these guys I've never seen before in this franchise mode. But Kirka's been with the Kings for a long time, apparently. Not played super far in the playoffs. Has won a Stanley Cup. I forgot that the Kings won the Cup a few years ago, too. Yikes. Okay, this is going to be a pretty heavyweight matchup. Miroslav Kvapil has only played with the LA Kings. Okay. In terms of depth, Clayton Peverley, Taylor Radish at 40 years old. Was not expecting him to still be playing at 40. Played 4 games this season. And he was also over point per game in the AHL. That's interesting. So I would say on paper, both teams have good offenses, but obviously ours is more deeper, but they do still have the stud player. Defensively, we're definitely better, but they do still have a stud player too. And goalie-wise, technically we're better, but both goalies have not been the best on our team so far, so a little bit skeptical about that. But going to be interesting to see who ends up going to the Stanley Cup Finals, because there's a chance, a 50-50 chance, that either the Flyers or us get to the Cup Finals. And it might actually be that Stanley Cup Finals matchup that Sanartaku is wanting. I don't know how good Columbus is, but Columbus is definitely apparently a wagon too, which should be interesting. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the conference finals against Michael Misa and the LA Kings as we look to find a way to beat our former player and not let him destroy us, and look to get to a Cup Finals where we could potentially play that Philadelphia Flyers team we wanted to play. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.